Okay, this is episode 2 of our new series Q&A, and again, my man Kareem the Fighter. And he asks, if you don't mind, can you do the next video on how to overcome fear of being yelled at? And I think that's childhood trauma that I have and many people have. This is what causes social anxiety to me. I'm scared of people's reactions, so how do you think we can get over this trauma? Thank you, man, for posting that comment. Now, first of all, this is just my opinion. This is just from what I've learned, from my experience, from all the books I read, from all the content that I consume. This is just my opinion, right? So I'm gonna take the question step by step. Okay, how to overcome fear of being yelled at? Now, you are absolutely correct in saying that, because when we are children, everything is formed, and just being yelled at from your parents or your teachers, like certainly I was yelled at when I was a kid from, my parents, Middle Eastern parents or teachers at school. We always got yelled at when we were children, right? And it's very traumatic. It is very traumatic. Like, those are your love givers. Those are the people who give you care and love and who care for you. Your mother, screaming at you, or your dad yelling at you, right? It's very, very traumatic. But I think the way to look at it is the people who yelled at us, maybe it was like a terrible teacher, right, who just yelled at you, or maybe it was your parents, right? They were yelling at you not because they're strong or powerful or they have authority. No. In fact, they were yelling at you because they felt weak, they felt insecure, because they were yelled at when they were children. Does that make sense? So basically, the people who yelled at you when you were a little kid, when you were a little child, helpless, right? They didn't yell at you because you were a bad child or you were a bad person. No, they yelled at you because they were insecure, they were weak. They thought that is how to parent children, right? Especially like Middle Eastern and Asian kids will understand, right? That's what they think parenting is, right? It's just yelling at the child if he does anything, right? But that's not raising children, that's traumatizing children. And there are so many studies that show how traumatizing just yelling at a child is, right? So yeah. And honestly, just take it as like a guide in your life. If you see someone who's very emotional and very, very angry all the time, and they keep yelling and they have a very loud voice and they keep shouting at everyone, and they try to look like they're powerful, and they actually sometimes look like they're very powerful and they have all the authority and they're yelling and very loud, right? These emotional people are actually very weak, insecure children inside, right? Because if someone, true power, true masculinity even, it's very calm, it's very in control, especially if it's emotions, right? Robert Greene in the 48 Laws of Power tells this story of Napoleon, right? If you don't know who Napoleon is, Napoleon was the emperor of France, basically in the 18th century, right? He was one of, if not the most powerful person on earth, the emperor of France. And he tells this beautiful story where Napoleon meets his, I don't really remember, but his partner or his teammate, and basically his partner does something wrong, and he just shouts at him. He just yells at him. Napoleon, right, yells at his teammate, and his teammate, he's very calm. He doesn't respond. He's just silent, and he's very in control. And he's very calm. It's law. I don't remember what law exactly, but it's stir the water or stir the fish or stir the sheep to get the master, something like that, right? But then Napoleon yells at his teammate or partner he literally curses him, right? But after Napoleon just finishes his emotional baggage, right, everyone in that room sees that Napoleon is actually very, very weak and very insecure inside, and doesn't even control his emotions. And everyone saw his partner. I wish I could remember his name, but I read that book like a very long time ago. Everyone sees him as strong, as calm, as in control, right? So that's actually one of the laws of power, is someone who's very emotional, very loud, they're very weak. But someone who's very calm and in control, they're very strong. So the people who shouted you, the people who yelled at you when you were a kid, again, it's not because you're a bad person at all. It has nothing to do with that at all. You're actually a very good person. Okay, and then you say, I think that's childhood trauma that I have and many people have. Correct, that is absolutely true. And many people have. This is what causes social anxiety to me. I'm scared of people's reactions, so how do you think we can get over this trauma? Now, social anxiety, I made an entire video on it, but basically the way to cure it is, and here it's a symptom of the trauma, just like I had it, right? It's just a symptom of having trauma. So basically when we overcome our trauma, and I'll just get to that in a second, but when we overcome that, our social anxiety just disappears, right? And when we, of course, practice our social skills, you know, meditate and do all these things, our social anxiety will just naturally fade off, because it's a symptom, it's not the cause. The causes are trauma, our trauma that happened in our childhood. And I know so many people and so many young men have trauma from being yelled at. Like it's so traumatic, man. Okay, I rambled a lot, but how do you actually overcome that? How do you overcome trauma and being yelled at and all these traumatic experience and bullying? And, you know, especially if you're like in the Middle East or Asia or even in Europe, right? Some parents are just like so strict. Basically, most people are villains. Let's be honest. That means what they say is, you know, this happened to me, so I'm gonna do that to other people. This bad thing happened to me, so I'm gonna take my revenge and do it to other innocent people who have nothing to do with that. That is what causes bullying. That is what causes bad parenting. That is what causes basically every problem we have. But heroes, and this is the 1%, this is what me and you are gonna become, bro. Say, this happened to me, this bad thing happened to me, but I'm not gonna allow it to happen to anyone else. And that's what we're gonna do, man. Like, that's what we're gonna do. Like, we're gonna become the best parents we can be. We're never gonna yell at our children. We're gonna give them unconditional love, man. We're gonna raise our children to be even better than us and be the best children we can ever raise. And that just, I don't know about you, but that just gives me so much hope. Just thinking that, you know, heroes and villains always have the same backstory, which is pain. But you can either be a villain like the 99% of people, honestly, who have pain and unload that pain because they don't have the courage, they don't have the guts, they don't have the strength to say, you know what, this bad thing happened to me, but I'm not gonna allow it to happen to anyone else, because I know how much it sucks. I know how much it hurts to be yelled at, to have that trauma, right? To be hurt as a child, as an innocent child. I know what it feels like, right? Okay, how do you overcome childhood trauma? Honestly, the way I overcame it, and I'm still working on it, but really, in my opinion, the best way is self-improvement. What does that mean? Meditate, journal, work out, and read. Those 4 habits. And work if you have like a business or school or anything. Those 5 habits. You know, I can't tell you, bro, how many times I'll remember something that's traumatizing. You know, maybe I was bullied a lot as a kid, not gonna lie. But you know what I do? I just journal about it. I just open my notebook and I just write, okay, what can I learn from this? What is the positive thing I can learn from this? You know, because every bad thing has a positive, right? Every bad thing in the world has a good thing inside of it. Or, you know, when I meditate, and that just trains my mind to focus on the present moment, to forget about the past, to forget about the future, and just focus on the present, right? And it calms me, makes me happier, makes me more present. Like these quote unquote habits, they're not just habits, these are everything. These give you literally everything. Like they you know, maybe I'll think about something that's very traumatizing. I'll come here and make a video about trauma, right? Maybe I just remember someone that I just really want revenge, and I'll just unleash that energy in a workout, right? Like, these habits are so beneficial. Bro, I genuinely believe if you meditate and journal, and you know, you eat good food, you lift weights, you know, you go to bed early, you sleep enough, you get enough sleep, you know, you read every single day, you have a business, like those 7 things will honestly solve like 99% of all your problems, not just trauma. Like, really, self-improvement changed my life, and I genuinely think it will solve 99% of your problems. Self-improvement, man. Meditate, journal, exercise, work out, and read. Bro, even right now, I'm not gonna lie, like today I woke up and I was at a very bad place, right? I kind of got in like a rut. I was just in a very dark place. I got in like a rut. I started, you know, relapsing on a certain bad habit, which I'm not gonna go in full depth because I will make like a full video about it. But I was just feeling terrible, not gonna lie. But then I meditated, I journaled, I followed my routine. And I hit a massive, you know, very intense workout. And now I just feel way, way, way better after doing that. Right? And I know that that's not like trauma or anything, but seriously, like these 5 habits, meditation, journaling, having a business, or working on school, or working on something that you can make money from, working out, and reading, those 5 habits are so beneficial. Like, those 5 habits alone will change your life. I believe that. Right? So yeah, that's my opinion. And now I'm gonna speak directly to you, Kareem, like brother to brother, really. Like, bro, I'm really, really proud of you. Honestly, like, you're meditating, you're journaling, you're working out, you're reading. And look at you, bro. Like, even if you had a lot of trauma, trust me, I know all about it. Like, I had tons of baggage and trauma and abuse and, you know, like Middle Eastern parents, like how aggressive they are, and bullying. Trust me, I know all about it. But look at you, man. You went through all those hard times, and you got onto self-improvement. And you're actually engaging with content like this. Like, you think about, like, how many people, like, you're literally in the 1% of people who watch content like this, who watch content that has no editing, no dopamine. Like, think about it. Like, most of your friends now are on social media. They're playing video games. They're watching, like, extremely edited dopamine burrito videos, right? And you're watching educational content like this, bro. Like, I think you should be proud of yourself, man. You should be very, very proud of yourself, right? And think about it, like, even if you went through all of that trauma, that made you a better person. Now you're praising other people. I see you, bro. Like, you praise me in the comments, which I'm so grateful for, man. And you know, you're praising other people. Like, you're such a good person, man. And I know it hurts, and I know it sucks, you know, having that traumatic. And bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like, this is something I'm still in the very, very beginning of learning about, you know, things like trauma. There's a very good book that I really want to read called The Body Keeps the Score. It's kind of like the Bible of trauma, right? It talks about everything involving trauma. You can read that book if you want. And I'll read it now, and I'll actually make a video on it. But yeah, bro, like, keep it up. Keep it up. You're on a very good path. You're on a very good path, and I'm really, really proud of you, bro. And never forget, like, we're in this together, and we will make it, bro. Alright? So yeah, bro. This is just my opinion. This is just what I think. As always, we're in this together, and we will make it.